All right, so the Rams are headed to the divisional round of the playoffs. They'll be taking on Philadelphia in Philly next Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern. The Minnesota Vikings, after a 14-3 season, after playing for the number 1 seed in Week 18, will be going home without a playoff win, and very, very likely with some regret and some serious question marks as we head into the offseason. We're going to talk all about Sam Darnold and his performance in this game. The guy was seeing ghosts in another impactful game where the lights were bright, and I want to talk about that. But I want to start, of course, by giving flowers to the Los Angeles Rams. Everything that's going on in LA right now, of course, prayers are out to those people and their families and just everything in that situation. The Rams have to go to Arizona for their home playoff game. You know, not that the Rams necessarily have a massive home field advantage. It's greater than the Chargers in that stadium in SoFi, but it's not huge. But they travel, they go to Arizona. And Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay, you know, this looks like a team that was well rested and well prepared. You gave Stafford a bye week in Week 18. He came out looking fresh. He has a ton of zip on the ball. McVay, the scheme was very, very good early and often. LA jumps out to a huge lead. The defense then begins to play with a lead. These edge rushers pin their ears back, and they hit Darnold for 8 sacks in this game. And as much as these sacks are on Darnold for sitting in the pocket and absolutely eating them like a total buffoon, we have to give the Rams credit where it's due. This young defense with this young pass rush that got better and better all season. Players like Verse, Fisk, Hitchens, Curl, all stepping up in the second half of the season for the Rams was one, part of the reason that they were able to come back and win the NFC West division, but two, part of the reason they were able to come out, punch Minnesota in the face in this game, and hold them off. So a round of applause to the Los Angeles Rams. Let's pull up some of the stats here in this game. So right now you can see your boy's cheating a little bit. I'm recording a little early, time left in the game. Figured might as well get up here and start talking about things as this one is a wrap. So maybe we see it go final while we're recording here. Stafford, 19-27, 209, 2 touchdowns, a 117 passer rating. Really, really excellent day from Stafford. Higbee was the main target before he went out. Nakua, again, the offense was very solid, very quickly, very early. Sean McVay had a plan to jump out and get an early lead on this Brian Flores defense. Matt Stafford, a very seasoned veteran of the game. You could argue top 5 quarterbacks. You could argue Stafford number 5 right now in the world. Got to go win a playoff game. Who do you want? Stafford could be number 5 on that list. The zip on the ball. I think he's a top 3 thrower in the league still. What he does is sensational. But they didn't fill up the stat sheet. In the second half, you see, Minnesota held him to 3 points. Now, don't get me wrong. LA's playing a little foot off the gas, you know, with the lead, rest up, be conservative. I get it. But Flores adjusted. He gave Minnesota a shot to get back in this game. The offense never could. And you look at this defense, Jared Verse with the touchdown on the fumble recovery. Kid's a fucking star. Quentin Lake, Christian Roseboom, Cameron Kitchens, Byron Young, guys that, you know, half of this list people probably didn't even hear of or know of going into this season. And the Rams defensive unit stepped up and they played really, really great. And we have to have the conversation now about Sam Darnold. And I'm going to go full screen for this for a second. When it comes to Sam Darnold, obviously this game was an objectively disastrous performance. 22 of 35, a touchdown, a pick, a 78 passer rating. The numbers make it look better than it was. If he wasn't having turnover-worthy plays, he was standing there taking a sack. Why did the Vikings offense not do anything tonight? Yes, the Rams defense played great, but Sam Darnold and holding onto the ball too long, not being able to play for another down, not being able to play for another set of downs, another possession. The Rams going up 10-0, The pressure starting to hit him. It was just all too much, and you could see it. This was Sam Darnold seeing ghosts in MetLife. This was Sam Darnold in Week 18 versus Detroit in the biggest game of his career. He folded. And in this next biggest game of his career, he folded again. And everybody says, you know, people want to pay Sam Darnold. Everybody's so quick to pay the quarterback. But do you want to be the Dolphins with that Tua contract? Do you want to be the Jaguars with that Trevor Lawrence contract? Do you want to be the Cowboys with that Dak contract? Where not even a year into it, you're looking at yourself in the mirror, what the fuck did we do? No. And with Sam Darnold, it is a what have you done for me lately league. What can you do in the big spots? And Sam Darnold, in the two biggest spots of the Minnesota Vikings season, had arguably his two worst performances. He stunk. Stunk up the building bad. And I'm not saying you kick him to the curb. Maybe it's a learning experience for the guy. He's still young. He could get better. But I'm not giving him $50, $55 million a year over 4, 5, 6 years. Not a shot in hell. Will I franchise tag him for $45 million? Sure. Will I even offer him the Baker Mayfield deal? Maybe. That'd be a tradable contract, even if it didn't work out and you decided you wanted to go with JJ McCarthy. But the investment you have in Darnold right now, it's fine for what it is. But do not double down on this. You can't. You can't. It is a disservice to your fan base. And I feel bad for Sam. I'm sure he's a great guy. But in the last 2 games, he went from potentially making hundreds of millions of dollars guaranteed. So, do I have a team next year? And it's fair. Because again, in the 2 biggest spots, he crumbled under the pressure. Back to the stats here. Like I said, Darnold, 24 of 37, 237 yards, a touchdown and interception, up to an 80 passer rating now. We'll see where it ends after the 2-minute warning. Ground game, couldn't get it going all night. Kevin O'Connell in the fourth quarter, down 3 scores, committed to running the football, felt like quitting. And I love KOC, and I don't know if that is a head coach quitting on his quarterback, if that is a team without life, what that is, but you got a battle there. I mean, there were 7 minutes left. I get it. It's an improbable comeback. You are down, 3 scores, but you got to give it a fucking effort. You have to. Inexcusable. Jefferson, 5 for 58. Hawkinson, 5 for 64 and a touchdown. A bad day. Another bad day, though, for this Vikings team. Some of the team stats. Let's take a look at these. Take a look at these before we get up out of here. First downs, actually in favor of Minnesota. Kind of interesting there. The yardage is close. At the end of the day, it was who was able to be more efficient and do more with the ball. And the answer to that was Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford, who are a duo that you could argue is the best in the NFC when it comes to head coach quarterback, who is a team you have to give life to, but a team that's heading to Philly that I think Philly really matches up well with. We watched them play earlier this year, 37-20. The Eagles won that game. So a tall task ahead for LA, traveling to Philly, cold weather, projected possible snow, a run defense that isn't great. The strength of your team is the young defensive line, but I think Philly's offensive line should be able to handle them just like they did last time the two teams played. Obviously we'll get to predictions later in the week, but I'm leaning Philly right now. And for Minnesota, some serious questions. Does Darnold test the market? If so, what can he get? Does Minnesota not let him test the market and just franchise tag him? A lot to talk about for Minnesota. A lot of reflecting that needs to be done. But if you're a Vikings fan, this was your biggest concern after week 18. And it came to life. Stafford and McVay, great early. The Rams defense takes them home. Minnesota crumbles along with Sam Darnold under the lights. But as always, these are just my thoughts on the game. Be sure to let me know yours in the comment section down below. I put a video out earlier today, talking about some NFL head coaching hirings, Mike Vrabel, Mike McCarthy leaving Dallas, what I think they should do there, Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. If you haven't checked that out yet, go check that video out now. If you love the NFL and you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that button. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.